Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, I got to talk about it. There's more and just like that have come out, and it's just incredible to me. You can hear the laughter in my voice, that and my cold. But anyway, if you're new here, welcome. If you've been with me, thank you so much for sticking with me. I do have this stupid cold. I'm trying to get rid of it. I know I sound like I have a cold, but so much is coming out, I just can't not make these videos. So here's your dose for today of just the most insufferable insanity you've heard. So a lot of you guys directed me to go watch The View. Apparently Cynthia Nixon was on there and she gave quite the interview. So you know what? I decided I'd pull it up and let's watch it together. So I'll be pausing it a lot to talk through it and talk through my opinions, and I'm dying to know yours. So that's where I really want you to comment below, because you better believe I read them all. I love them. You guys are amazing. I've found my people, and I'm so happy because you guys see it too. I feel like the whole world is asleep, and we're like the only ones that can see what an awful train wreck this is. And I say, welcome. I'm so glad you guys see it too. Okay, let's get into this video and see what the heck's going on here. Now, I will preface this by saying I don't watch The View. I don't think I've seen a single episode. I've seen maybe clips of it, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know who's a regular host, who's not. So we'll just take it at face value. You guys can fill me in the comments who we like, who we don't. But I just thought, well, I'll just see what Cynthia says and go from there.
When Sex and the City premiered back in 1998, can you believe it? Yeah. It became a cultural phenomenon.
Oh, the good old days. Tell me your story with Sex and the City. How did you find it? When did you start watching it? Did you watch it back in the day? Are you a little younger and you watched it more recently? I'd really like to know.
Now in the highly anticipated new series, which is called And Just Like That.
I remember when I thought it was highly anticipated too. I was so excited about it. In fact, you could go back and listen to my first episode. I was still hopeful about the show.
The women pick up right where they left off.
I don't know what show you're watching, but no, they don't.
Once again, exploring life and love, this time from a more, shall we say, mature perspective. Take a look.
Yeah, I want to go back in time where I thought this was actually going to be a good show. I don't even know if I thought it was going to be a good show or a great show. I just thought, okay, let's see these women. I had no idea it was going to be the shit show it's become.
Please welcome Miranda herself, Cynthia Nixon.
I have the first question
Yes.
because I am such a huge fan of
you.
yours,
Thank
the
you.
series.
Thank you.
You walked
I remember feeling like that about the series. I don't think I've ever been the biggest fan of Cynthia Nixon's.
out to the theme song that we all love so much. I was a super fan of the series. I just saw the 2 episodes. I'm a super fan already.
Okay, so this is where I need you guys who watch this show to fill me in. Is this something they always do? Do they kiss the guest's ass? Like, is this a given? You have to say, I love the show, even if it sucks. If they really thought the show sucked, would they say it? Would they be able to say it? That's where I don't know.
So tell us, what are they all up to now? And Samantha's not there, but her her absence is really explained in a really great way.
It's really, truly not. She had such a presence on the show and was so there for Carrie, especially through everything and, in these women's lives. And then they wrote her off the way that they did. And I just find it completely tacky and tasteless and disrespectful. Even if, even if she didn't want to come back, they didn't have to do her like that.
I think.
Right.
So tell us.
Well, what are they all up to? I mean, I feel like I got to walk such a fine line here for people
no
who
spoilers.
are intending to see it and haven't seen it. But I would say that, I think Charlotte and Carrie are pretty much where we've left them.
Yeah.
And I would say Miranda is the one who, in the last 11 years, has had the most recent change.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. So here it is. We get to see the full ego in full effect right here. She's saying that her character has done the most changing. I would say her character has regressed and forgotten how to be a human. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch my video where I talk about Patricia Field, talking about Cynthia Nixon being difficult, as well as the comments that Cynthia Nixon has made about the original series. And she just seems to be a shitty person. Just very full of herself. And of course, we're seeing it here.
She has really decided that her long 30-year career in corporate law is maybe not how she wants to, do the last part of her life, that she's actually looking for something more.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Tell me that these hosts are full of crap and they haven't actually seen the episodes, and that's how come they're able to say it's so good. I mean, what's happening here? Have they all had lobotomies?
City. I would say I'm a Sex and the City scholar.
Mm-hmm. Again, I point out the hypocrisy that she's acting thankful that somebody is a scholar of the show, but then puts out articles like she did, like the one I talked about where she's bashing the original show and said she'd only come back and do the remake if they started to get things more right. What?
But in the new series, it feels less about sex and more about the current culture.
Ding, ding, ding. Let's take away all the joy that we had from the original series and add a bunch of forced wokeness and talk about, 50-something-year-old women like they're 100 years old. Let's just beat all the fun out of it and serve that to people because that's what they want to watch.
And as you just said, for Miranda in particular, she has some pretty cringe moments.
That's not specific to just the Miranda character. That could encompass all of the ladies. Terribly cringe moments.
I have to say, dare I say, some Karen-esque moments.
Absolutely.
Was Miranda with the original Karen? I think about the Blimpie moment, the Eat Me moment. And she went in and talked to the manager.
So great example. Let's take parts of the original series that we love. Let's put it under this horribly forced woke lens and make it just incredibly hard to watch. You're sucking all the fun and all the joy out of the original series.
She's grappling with her privilege and her whiteness in a really interesting way.
Really? Is this one of the writers from the show? Because they're kind of approaching it from the same lens.
Struggling with saying the wrong thing in a changing world where diverse voices have been elevated. Was it important for you as an actor and producer on the show to show that evolution of Miranda?
I have a question. Does it hurt your back to kiss your own ass like this? Because that's exactly what you're doing.
That was really important, but I will say for myself and also for Sarah and Kristin, we were never going to go back and do this show the way it was 25 years ago.
Back when people truly loved the show and enjoyed it for what it was and didn't need it to teach us lessons.
And we did the pilot.
There were no black people.
There were no black
in New
people.
York.
There were
Well,
100%.
Listen, I've said it before and I'll say it again here. They did miss an opportunity with that. I don't know how you live in such a dynamic city like New York and not experience every culture. But the point that we have that they seem to be missing is that by doing this forced woke bullshit, they're using people of color as props. They're not even giving us full stories on people. They're just using them, like Charlotte, for instance. She's like, who could we invite to dinner so that, I forget their names, that couple's not the only black couple there? I mean, that is idiotic. So I've had a lot of people of color in the comments saying how offended they'd be to get that invite. That would be so offensive and horrible.
Well, Samantha did date a black man in a really problematic episode.
So this person's pretending to be a scholar, but it wasn't just an episode she dated him. It was Blair Underwood. I remember because he was so hot. How could you forget him? He was in several episodes. And it got to the point where he said, I love you, and chocolate chips on the cake. And how is that problematic? That was more organic to me than this forced crap they're doing now. She didn't go out and say, hey, I'm going to date him because he's a black man. She dated him because she really liked him. And it wasn't about ticking boxes. It was just about who she wanted to date. So this lens that they've got it under makes no sense at all.
Black characters. I don't think there was Latino characters either.
There was one.
in the original.
Samantha dated Sonia Braga.
Oh
she
my
went
God.
by.
Yeah.
Can't even. What is happening here? We're still ticking boxes?
We all identify and love the
Absolutely.
series. So there's something because I think
Absolutely.
it was about friendship.
And where is that now? They've lost that magic with and just like that.
and relationships and two-way streets and the ups and downs of life.
And that's exactly my point. We're only getting the downs now, not the ups. We're missing the fun, the magic, the lightness that was brought to the show. Instead, they're so busy trying to teach us all, they have lost the key ingredients to make this show magic and to make it so successful.
But there's been a lot of misogyny online about the fact that people have aged.
I don't doubt that they get a ton of comments about that. And I think sometimes people just click off of, well, my videos because they think I'm bashing these women for aging. That's not it. That is not it at all. It's how they're handling the aging. It's how they're making it the most depressing thing in the world, like it's the worst thing to get older. And that's not it. Plus, they're only 55. 55 is not old. I keep saying this. People don't want to hear it, so they just click off and say, oh, you're talking about them getting older. That's not it. They should be getting older. That's my beef, is that they didn't grow. But physically, they've aged them about 100 years. I'm not just talking looks. I'm talking about the way that they behave. We just got wind that freaking Carrie is going to be having a hip replacement. And yes, that happens, but that's an outlier. That's not normal for 55. Making Steve deaf, that's an outlier. That's not a typical 55. It makes me so frustrated. You guys, so many of you guys are so wonderful in the comments. You tell me you're around the same age. I'm in my 40s. I'm early 40. I just can't believe that in 15 years I'm going to be losing my hip and my hearing. Maybe I will, who knows, but what they've done to these characters is unforgivable, and they made them caricatures of themselves. Then instead of looking inward like, hey, maybe our writing completely sucks, maybe we wrote this and did this completely wrong, they're going to blame misogyny.
Right? We've all aged. There's been snarky comments. The Golden Girls.
I've had so many funny comments from you guys saying you'd much rather be watching the Golden Girls because at least they made aging fun.
There was an entire conversation, which we've had on this table, about gray hair. So how did it make you feel?
I think it's so convenient for people like Cynthia Nixon, who I am lumping into this because she is an executive producer of the show, to blame things like misogyny instead of taking a note from the audience like, hey, you haven't done this right.
Well, I mean, I think we're used to it, right? I think we knew it was coming.
Oh my gosh, you're such a hero. How do you survive? Oh wait, that $10 million you picked up from doing this, that probably helps, huh?
Yeah.
And I feel like, this is a show that has always been just so embraced by the people with PhDs in Sex and the City,
Yeah.
The same people were insulting by talking down to them in the new episodes.
And I think that there have always also been people who, didn't get it. It's distasteful. Like in the same way they're saying the stuff about we're 55, we shouldn't be on television.
That's not what we're saying. We're saying you're only 55. Why are you acting like you're 105?
Basically, right? I mean, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
In the same way, when the show first launched, there was a lot of kind of unpleasant nattering about.
Unpleasant nattering is exactly how I would explain this interview. Well, I think you've got the point, and I think I've driven myself absolutely bonkers with this because the hits just keep on coming, don't they? But I do want to thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for all the wonderful comments. Everything from the get well soons to the I found my people to the you say what I'm thinking. I mean, you guys have made every day just so wonderful, and you guys who have been with me from the beginning, I appreciate that so much. And everybody that's joined me lately, I appreciate you, and I really do. You guys have just made it so exciting. I can't believe I've doubled my subscribers in like 2 weeks' time. It's kind of incredible. I appreciate every single one of you. I do. I want to hear what you have to say. Leave me comments below. I read them all. It's hard to respond to them, but I do read them, and I thank you for them. And I want you to have a wonderful week, and you better believe I will be talking Sex in the City and just like that. So thank you guys for everything. Stay healthy. Don't catch this cold. Take care. Bye-bye.